I miss him. I will miss him. He completely reinvented or invented the way films are financed in the world. I don't know if you guys realize that, but he did. The way films are financed all over the world now is really work that Andy did. He understood a lot about movies, which most producers don't. So he was actually, really good to work with because of that. So he could tell you when, he didn't waste your time with stupid things. But if there was something that was really important, he'd know about it and he'd tell you. Doing the Die Hard in New York was interesting because he was there all the time. I remember one time, first day we were shooting in New York, I think I confessed to him that even though I'd already done, 4 or 5 features at that point, but I confessed to him that at that moment, that day, I was scared. And he confessed that he was too, which was nuts. But I don't know, my relationship with him was close enough that there wasn't such a thing as hands on or hands off or whatever. I remember there were a number of times when we'd start a new scene and there were difficulties. And I'd have to call Andy and say, I'm not gonna shoot any film this morning. If I'm lucky, I'll get a camera rolling around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Just letting you know. Because there are loads of people who are gonna tell him and they all go nuts, right? But before any of that happened, I would simply call him and say, the likelihood of me getting a camera rolling before lunch is, nope. You should just, I'm telling you up front. And he was fine. We had that sort of relationship. We used to go motorcycle riding up in the mountains. And there was one time when, he was really game about that sort of stuff. He was older than me, but he I guess he liked me because I did, dumb things like that. Things that he wouldn't get the chance to do otherwise. There was one time we were coming down a mountain on motorcycles. He was in the lead and we went around a corner and suddenly he got just knocked flat by this great big brown locomotive. We dumped our bikes and ran, pick him up, see if he was all right. And it turned out he was fine. He just had no idea what had happened to him. And we started laughing like crazy because he literally had no idea that a moose had just run over him. It's funny, when you're young, you don't realize that how unique some people are. When I first met Andy, okay, he's another movie businessman. But, 30 years later or something, you realize, wow, he did an awful lot of things and no one else has done the same things. It's hard to tell when you're young, but it'd be nice if we knew, that person is has a significant mind and a significant heart. I don't know, it's funny, when I first met him, even when I first worked with him, I just was another movie businessman. But then I went to Hong Kong with him, and he'd started working there. He went from here to Los Angeles as a young man, and then he was working as a hairdresser, working for a hairdresser, and at the time they were selling wigs, and they sent him to Hong Kong to buy more wigs, and he just stayed. And in the course of about a week in Hong Kong, I met all these people that were all young with Andy in Hong Kong. They were all like 22 or 3. And I was meeting them 20 years later, and they were all now successful in very different fields. But they'd all done business with Andy for years, and they all still liked him. And I realized, wait, that's significant. Here's somebody, because in the movie business, because they're all knives. They cultivate having very sharp knives. Most movie businessmen think that's what they really need, is razor blades at the end of all of their long bones. But all these people loved Andy. You know, they'd known him for 20 years, worked with him, done business with him, and they all still were talking to him. And I said, that's significant. They're all still talking to him. They're not mad at him. And that's very rare for a film businessman. Anyway, that was how I started liking him. Because I realized he was sincere.